Two Great Collectibles here, back for a Marvel Legends action figure review. Today we are looking at the Hasbro Pulse exclusive 3-pack of Elektra in white costume, Daredevil in his classic all-red costume, and Bullseye in his new modern costume. In terms of packaging, this is one of the best windowless packaging I've ever seen for this year for Hasbro. At the background, the City of Hell Kitchen, all in red, and on top of it is the Daredevil font, exactly the same as the one that you see in the comic books. Then we have what I assume as digital renders of the action figures in front, and on the other side we have again digital renders of Bullseye and Elektra. On the other side we have solo Daredevil digital render, and on the back we have the contents of the box, which tells you how many alternate pairs of hands and accessories each figure comes with. I assume these are digital renders, and the problem with digital renders is many times Hasbro has done this and it does not match the actual action figure. One good example is the recent Gore, wherein the digital render shows that the figure is spinless, but the actual action figure has spins. For this particular 3-pack, we have Elektra. Can you guess what doesn't match with the action figure? I'm not sure whether other action figure reviewers noticed this, but if you look closely on Elektra's chest, you can see that it is sculpted differently. Her top is very tight, showing the shape of her chest, unlike the action figure, which is the PG or approved by Disney type of mold. It just shows how inconsistent Hasbro is in terms of their rules. Like, if it is in the packaging, so does that mean it is okay that we have this very sexy looking female digital renders or comic book art, but in terms of the figure you cannot do that anymore? It just doesn't make sense. I guess the highlight of this set is the beautiful head sculpt of Elektra, wherein Hasbro used a photoreal with her eyes and such good looking painted eyebrows and red lips. In terms of her hair, it is swept on one side. She has a white bandana swept on the other side, on the same side as well. In terms of the torso, this is the same torso that Hasbro has been using for Binary and the Age of Apocalypse Rogue. In terms of her arms, it is the new arms, which is pinless. We have pinless double jointed elbows. Her straps are just painted. In terms of her belt, this is like soft plastic. And in terms of her legs, it is a new leg as well, because you can see here it is pinless double jointed knees. Again, the straps here are all painted, which I am not a fan of. Here at the bottom we can see the product number and a peg hole. If this was Mayfix or Marvel Select, the straps would have been sculpted on, but for some reason Hasbro has been very lazy to do that. This Marvel Legends 3-pack is what you would expect for a Frank Miller inspired Daredevil run. We have the Trinity, Elektra, Daredevil, and Bullseye. Another team, in my opinion, for this 3-pack is being born again. The costumes of Elektra and Bullseye are the ones they wore when they got resurrected. Elektra's resurrection took place in the Frank Miller classic of Daredevil number 190. The evil ninja clan, the Hand, stole Elektra's dead body from the grave. Daredevil came to stop them, and in the process, he purified Elektra's soul with his own life essence that brought her back to life. This comic panel is the first appearance of Elektra in this white costume. Elektra disappeared from the comic books for over a decade because there is an informal agreement between Frank Miller and Marvel that Marvel cannot use Elektra or one of his creations without any permission. In Daredevil number 324, January 1994, Marvel broke that informal agreement, wherein they brought back Elektra, this time still in the white costume but all bald. Other comic book issues where I found Elektra wearing a white costume was in her own series, Elektra number 22, published June 2003. This time, her costume was a little bit sensual and like a mummy cloth wherein it's just wrapped around her. Side by side, we have here Elektra in the red costume. From the SPDR wave, you can see the double jointed pinless elbows on the new one, while the old one has a single jointed elbow. In terms of her weapons, the silver is shinier in the new one and has a black handle, while the other one has a red handle. In terms of the belt, it's the same thing. In terms of her knees, the new one has pins, visible pins. And in terms of flesh tone, you can see that the old one has a darker flesh tone compared to the new one. In terms of the position and design of the straps on her arms and her legs, it is different, as the old one is more of similar to how it was painted for Psylocke. Out of the packaging, she comes with a pair of weapon holding hands, which is sculpted differently. The other one is more for the side, while the other one is also you can use for holding this sword. So slide in the sword with the black handle, and in terms of the blade, it is very shiny silver. Her hand can hinge forward and back. She comes with a pair of alternate closed fist hands. Very white. In terms of her neck, it is the classic peg with a hinge, a ball peg with a hinge. So you can see here is the alternate head. The ball peg is a bit large, so it does make it a bit hard to peg it into the hole of the head. The hair does obstruct and make it a little bit more difficult to align it. Here we have the alternate head with the large frizzy hair, and it really looks great, especially the photoreal eye, the red lips. The hair is plain black, well sculpted. She has a white bandana on the head. This is one of the best looking heads. Well painted, especially like how she was made up. In terms of the head, it's a bit difficult to move it with this frizzy hair. As you can see, it limits the articulation a lot. A little bit heavy as well. In terms of this hair, I believe it is inspired from the how she was drawn in the comics, wherein her hair has gone frizzy, as you can see here, and I believe it is loosely based on how she was drawn in Daredevil number 25, which is the first appearance of the Daredevil, the woman without fear. So you can see here on the comic panel, that is how her hair is drawn, but with the red bandana and red costume. So I won't be surprised if in the future Hasbro will release this head along with the female Daredevil Elektra. Here we have Daredevil out of the packaging. It is a well sculpted Daredevil head. The mask is well sculpted, the horns, the red eyes. His lips are pinkish, painted pinkish. In terms of the body, it is the new well-articulated Spider-Man body in red plastic and nothing much else. Even the logo on his chest is not noticeable because it is just painted. I wish they copied what was done in the comics, wherein there is black shading just to make the DD logo stand out, or they should have sculpted it. In terms of the belt, you can see that this is a movable piece. Out of the packaging it would look like that, but it is placed in a strange spot, so you need to pull it down, just hiding that particular waist articulation. In terms of his legs, you can see his feet. It has a toe articulation, which is from the Renew Your Vows Spider-Man. And that's all. Really not much work done here. The red costume is his most iconic costume, but his first appearance costume is the yellow and red, which appeared in the She-Hulk Disney Plus series. Here we have the figure besides the Marvel Unlimited exclusive Daredevil in yellow costume. In terms of his opponents, it is the Kingpin, which is notable, which is seen in the Netflix series as well. And here are the other adversaries, which includes Elektra, by the way. In terms of his hands, he comes with a pair of closed fist hands, painted red or red plastic. He comes with a pair of weapon holding hands as well. This is to hold his batons. So you can simply slide in his batons on each hand. The batons are a bit crimson red in terms of color, and you can plug it in here for his weapon holder on his legs, which is strapped on his legs. They fit well and is in perfect, it is in perfect position. He comes with a pair of rope, which is molded already into shape. So this is a permanent shape of the rope. You can bend it a bit, like play around with it, but it will stay back into this shape. So it's like the Z like shape of the rope, which is shorter, the shorter version. Probably because it's in this shape. It's a bit heavy, so his gripping hand cannot really balance it that well. So here we have it. Probably this one is the longer one, maybe because it's not that bent that much. It's like more of an S shape. It's for farther distances of when he wants to hit somebody far away. You can attach it there, and you can see it's still a balancing act. From this silver paint, you can see the threads of the rope, which is sculpted as well. Next we have Bullseye, and you can see the bullseye on his head is not well painted, but it is sculpted. It's supposed to be white, but there are some black blemishes. His eyes are blue, and you can see his teeth. He's missing a tooth there. Well sculpted and devilish smile. In terms of the costume, you can see that the lines are painted nicely. He has a peg hole on the back. You can put his knife on his belt, as you can see right here. Just simply remove it. He has a plain black knife, which is a reuse. We have several knives of this in Marvel Legends. I don't remember, with the Aim Soldier probably. He comes with this belt wherein you're supposed to put a gun, but he does not come with any gun at all. He comes with double jointed elbows with pins. Not noticeable because it's all black, which is okay, which I don't mind at all. On the back, you see it's plain black again. He has double jointed knees with pins again. Since it's black, it's fine. It's not noticeable. I don't mind it. He has well painted lines here on his boots, which is not sculpted at all. So it's just a painted body in summary, just like Daredevil. Back from the dead, this costume made its first appearance in Bullseye #1, published February 2017. Besides Daredevil, one of Bullseye's greatest adversary is Elektra. which he is responsible for her death, wherein he killed Elektra in one of comic book's most iconic death scenes. He also crossed paths with Old Man Logan. It's ironic because both of them were believed to be dead. So here we have Old Man Logan battling it out with Bullseye, who just came back from the dead. Bullseye comes with a pair of closed fist hands in white plastic. He comes with an alternate pair of weapon holding hands for both left and right hand. You can use this to hold the knife, which is all black, lacking a lot of paint details for this knife. Let's see here. He's not able to hold it tightly, as you can see. He comes with a hand looking like a gun, because he does not come with a gun. But seriously, this is supposed to be a card flicking hand. And he doesn't come with any cards or any kinds of throwing accessories. He comes with a hand with an effect piece of 3 knives thrown away. It is attached to this hand, and it has been used, like, I think in the past as well with other figures. You cannot remove the knives, and they are well painted as well. Like Elektra, he comes with the classic neck peg with a hinge. Nothing new here. The same old body mold. And here he comes with a new alternate hat, which is an unmasked head. Well sculpted, well painted. You can see the bullseye on his head is sculpted. His eyes has photoreal. Look at that reddish lining on surrounding his eyes. It is a well painted face. As you can see, the shading is there, missing a tooth. Now for some size comparison, beginning with Daredevil, which is 16 centimeters or 6.3 inches tall. According to the import trading card, he is supposed to be 6 feet, but 16 centimeters translates to 6.2 feet. Clearly, Hasbro Marvel Legends are not really accurate 1/12 scale figures. They have their own 1/12 scale, making this 16 centimeters as 6 feet. With that said, here we have Daredevil besides Bullseye and Elektra from the 3-pack. Next we have Hot Claws Wolverine and the new Retro Multiple Man. Next we have the Stepford Cuckoos and Retro Rogue. Next we have the well-articulated Retro Spider-Man and the new body mold Vulcan. Next we have the Renew Your Vows Spider-Man and Spinneret. Next we have Maestro, the Hulk body mold, and Kingpin. Here we have Daredevil besides the Hand Ninja and the Build-A-Figure Stiltman. Here is Daredevil besides Mafex, Psylocke, and Old Man Logan. Next we have Elektra, who is 15.75 centimeters or 6.2 inch tall. According to the import trading card, she is supposed to be 5 feet 9 inch tall. Again, since Marvel Legends have their own 1/12 scale, this does not match the 1/12 conversion. Here she is besides the Hot Claws Wolverine and Retro Multiple Man. Here she is besides Stepford Cuckoos and Retro Rogue. Here she is besides Retro Spider-Man and the new body mold Vulcan. Here we have her besides the Renew Your Vows Spider-Man and Spinneret. Here she is besides the red costume Elektra from the SPDR wave and Halimo Sculptures Loose Collectors Darna. Here she is besides Maestro, which is the generic Hulk body mold, and Kingpin. Next we have the Hand Ninja and the Stilt Man. Here she is besides Mafex, Psylocke, and Mesco 1/12 Old Man Logan. Next, we have Bullseye, who is also 16 centimeters or 6.3 inches tall. According to the Impulse trading card, like Daredevil, he is supposed to be 6 feet tall. Again, it is not an accurate 1/12 conversion. Here he is besides Hot Claws Wolverine and the Retro Multiple Man. Here he is besides the Stepford Cuckoos and Retro Rogue. Here he is besides the Retro Spider-Man and the Vulcan new body mold. Here he is besides the Renew Your Bow Spider-Man and Spinneret. Here he is besides the Hand Ninja and Stealth Man. Here he is besides the Hulk body mold Maestro and Kingpin. Here he is besides the Mezco 112 Old Man Logan and the Mafex Psylocke. Here he is besides the Halimo Sculptures Loose Collector Darna and the Elektra in red costume. In terms of articulation, Daredevil's head can move from side to side, can look up that much, look down. His arms can extend that far. He can do a full 360 here. He has a butterfly joint. He has bicep swivel, double jointed pinless elbows right here. His wrist can swivel and hinge. He has a good crunch on the back and forward as well. He has a upper thigh swivel, double jointed pinless knees. He can kick forward. He has a swivel on the lower leg, and he has toe articulation. His feet can hinge forward and back and has an ankle rocker. In terms of Elektra's articulation, her head can move from side to side and look down, but with some hindrance from her hair. She can extend her arms that far. Though full 360, she has a bicep swivel. She has double jointed pinless elbows right here. She has a swivel on her wrist, can hinge forward and back. She can crunch backward that much. Swivel there. She can crunch forward that far. She doesn't have a swivel on the waist. She has a swivel on the upper thigh. She has double jointed knees, pinless. Can kick that far, hinge forward and back, and has an ankle rocker. For Bullseye articulation, his head can move from side to side. He can look up and look down. His arms can extend that far. He has a butterfly joint there, as you can see, well painted as well. The lines continue. He has a bicep swivel. He can do a full 360 there. He has double jointed elbows with pins. He has a swivel on his wrist and hinge forward and back. Bullseye can crunch forward, and Bullseye can crunch backwards as well, that far. This is the generic body mold, the Bucky cap, I think, so you know what it is. He has a swivel on his waist. He has a swivel on his upper thigh. He has double jointed knees, can kick forward, feet can hinge forward and back, and has an ankle rocker. When first announced, this Daredevil 3-pack got sold out in Hasbro USA, and it was restocked. Then again, it is sold out. Hasbro is making a lot of profit from these figures. 5 times probably compared to when they sell it in retail. With that being said, it is disappointing that we just got painted figures with less sculpt work done. With the price that we are paying for these figures, you would expect some sculpt work, especially on the main guy Daredevil, which is just a plain red body. They could have added like a wash there just to highlight the sculpt work or the DD logo, but nothing. Hasbro just really is so cheap in terms of this premium item, which is supposed to be a Pulse exclusive. Though the head sculpts of Daredevil and Elektra are well done, still you would expect sculpt work, especially on Elektra's costume. The bandages should be sculpted, and the negligence, or I don't know what Hasbro is thinking of not including any gun for Bullseye. but giving him a place wherein he can actually put his gun on. So, I mean, it does sound like I'm disappointed with this set, but it is really a good set. But the price and how it is done doesn't make sense. Being an exclusive item with very, very substandard effort. Thank you for watching this long, informative video. I hope it did answer most of your questions about why Elektra's wearing a white costume, or which part of the comic book did she wore this costume, and same for Bullseye, what's with the blue in his costume. So if it really helps, I hope you would share it with your friends as well. And I also noticed that there has been a dip in terms of the views of my videos. It is a bit discouraging, but I hope you could let me know what I'm doing wrong or what I can do better. What am I doing right? Please let me know down below in the comments. And as always, I hope you can subscribe as well to my channel, and if you can share this video. Now we're going to the end of the year, and it has been a rough 2022 for most of us. I hope you have a happy holiday and a Merry Christmas. I hope you enjoyed this break and look forward to the coming new year. That's all for now. Thank you and see you next time.